All right, guys, welcome back. It's been 2 months since we filmed our last episode of Courtside Idiots. We're lazy, but we are excited. What better time to get back into the swing of things than with March Madness, my favorite time of year. So we've got a mostly March Madness episode planned for you guys today. We'll talk a little bit about NFL free agency as well, since that has been a very interesting 2 weeks. And to get started, we actually have a guest for my favorite segment, If I Were a Betting Man. Ethan Harb is in the house, brother of the esteemed member of the podcast, Jacob Harb. Ethan's had himself a weekend. This man is up big from betting on all the underdogs in the most upsets in an NCAA tournament history that has currently been going on. He's in a couple underdog parlays. Every time he sends us a bet, I think there's no way it's going to hit. And then, you know what? I'm getting a text 3 hours later saying, suck it. So very impressed by Ethan's betting thus far.
All class.
He's going to start his own sports book soon.
Well, please don't do that. I will tell your father. But anyway, Ethan's been very profitable so far this tournament. So he is here to give us picks for all 8 Sweet 16 games. I'm excited to hear what he's got. I would say, you should probably tail all of his picks if you want to make money. So Ethan, welcome to the podcast. Light us up with your Sweet 16 picks.
All right. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate you guys having me. This podcast is sponsored by Bovada.lv.
Whoa.
How much are they paying you?
Not legally.
Can't say that.
What is? So,
It is.
my first pick.
Again, not legally?
Use my referral code. My first pick, I got Loyola Chicago versus Oregon State. I chose in this Oregon State, they're plus 220 money line and plus 6.5 for the spread. I'm choosing them because, man, their front court is so good with Ethan Thompson and Jared Lucas. They're killers in the Pac-12 tourney, and now into March Madness, they're just killing. And their bigs match up well. Roman Silva matches up well with Krutwig, and I just think they can take this game in the high-seeded Sweet 16 matchup. What do you guys think about that?
Money line or spread?
I'm hammering the money line. I just hammer money line all day.
Wow.
I hate it.
I love it.
I do like the spread though. I'll say that much. But
I
also
do like the spread too, but the Ramblers are going to the Final Four, baby.
Let's go, Sister June.
Ethan's picks.
That's true.
That's good.
Brother, yes.
I'm barely 500, so actually trust Ethan.
Hey, you gotta choose the underdogs. Like I said, minimal input for max output. Boom.
Yeah, because it's less likely to hit. I don't know. I'm liking the spread, and I think I don't know. Based on yesterday's games, it looks like a lot of the higher seeds are starting to kind of figure stuff out as we go along. All the pretenders are kind of getting knocked out. All the frauds, as Harb and I like to say, are getting knocked out. Chicago, man, they're no fraud. They're no fraud. Krutwig's for real.
Loyala's not fraud. They're definitely not fraud.
You just went from like, hey, you really need to listen to Ethan here and probably follow his picks to right off the bat. I completely disagree with this decision.
Hey, I like Ethan's picks, and if I actually wanted to make money, I would tail. But my heart, it says Loyola. They're covering, baby. Loyola minus 6.5.
Sister June.
Sister Jean all the way, baby.
I mean,
her prayer was absolutely electric before the Illinois game.
I don't know.
Hey, it worked. Obviously, I'm not going to say that. Never mind. But
all right, E, sorry for hammering that one.
That's okay.
Everyone trust Ethan. Ethan, second pick.
You don't have to trust me. This is a fun one. I got Oral Roberts versus Arkansas. The money line for Oral Roberts is plus 425 and the spread is plus 11. After they upset the top seeds in the Summit League, South Dakota State, North Dakota State, they were coming red hot as a 15 seed, going to upset Ohio State, and then sparked the late game comeback versus Florida, led by Max Abmas and Kevin O'Banner, just 2 killers right now. They're both averaging 26 a game in their last 3 games. Their only flaw is that their size. It's hard to match up with Connor Vanover from Arkansas. He's big, 7-footer. But in my opinion, I'm taking Oral Roberts in this game. Those two, Kevin and Max, they can carry Oral Roberts to this potential historical win. So I'm hammering plus 425.
I would like to point out that Oral Roberts and Arkansas have already actually played this season.
And the outcome?
It was 87-76 Arkansas.
Honestly, not as bad as I thought it was gonna be.
So I'm hammering Oral Roberts plus 425 in a
I'll
parlay.
take plus
Golden
11
Eagles,
all day.
baby.
I definitely love plus 11. I'm a little scared of the money line, but that's great payoff for a Sweet 16 game.
So you're saying
Well,
we should do we should do a parlay? E?
Oh wait, hey, I got after all my picks, I got a couple parlays for you guys. Don't worry.
Oh boy.
Oh my god.
All right, hit us with the next one. Hit us with the next one.
This is I got Nova versus Baylor. I'm hitting Baylor minus 280, and they also got a minus 6.5.
Sick 'em.
But I'm hammering the money line. I got Baylor winning my tournament anyways. I'm not really sure anybody in this tournament can beat them. Maybe the Zags, they probably match up well, but Jared Butler is just so good. And they got Teague, and they got my guy from Auburn, Davion Mitchell, the transfer.
Off night.
And he tends to show up big when Butler's on the bench, and he can take over games, those close games. And then one of my favorite players on that team is Mark Vital. He's basically like Draymond Green. He's like the GOAT, like the heart and soul of Baylor. He really motivates that team to win. So I'm taking Baylor minus 280. I think it's just a lock versus Nova.
I love it.
Yeah, no, I love Baylor in that game. Love Baylor.
Love that one.
It's a safe.
Sometimes you gotta have a safe pick.
You gotta have a safe pick. You got to.
He's not gonna come on and just pick all underdogs. He's gotta throw in a couple.
Just like 6 of the 8, probably.
Scared money, no money though.
Yes, sir.
No. The word.
Call 1-800-GAMBLER if you have a gambling addiction.
Poor man.
All right,
Please gamble responsibly.
game number 4, E.
Syracuse versus Houston. I'm taking Cuse. They got a plus 210 and they got a plus 6.
Buddy
they're a sleeper in the tourney every year. With their 2003 win with Carmelo Anthony, they have been to the Sweet 16 4 times and the Final Four twice since then. They're like the most dangerous double-digit seed team in the tourney right now. This is the highest seed they've ever been since 2018 when they're 11 as well. They have 5 players on the team that can just go off. Buddy Boeheim leading the team, he's averaging 28 a game in his last 4 games, which is crazy. Shooting 57% from 3. He's hit 13 threes in his last 2 games. I mean,
this research is impressive.
He's just a killer, man. I think Syracuse pulls out the upset versus Houston. I'm hammering plus 210. It's just so easy to hammer.
I got him in my Elite 8 in my bracket, baby. I love to hear it.
Double-digit Qs, baby. They're always good. I think, E, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sure you know this. I think they have the best record of a double-digit seed in NCAA tournament history for a program.
2-3, man. People don't know how to play
agree with you. I don't know that research for sure, but I mean,
I'm pretty sure there's something crazy like 9-2 all time as a double-digit seed.
I remember it popped up on TV. It was either 9-2 or 8-2. Yeah, they're crazy in the tournament.
What did you say that money line was?
Plus 210. So it's like
hammer.
That plays out pretty well.
Yeah, you just I know you just put the rent on that. I mean, you have to.
Oh my!
Responsibly.
Oh my!
1-800-GAMBLER. All right.
Don't gamble with
let's
that.
get to the Sunday slate. E.
I got Gonzaga versus Creighton. I'm taking Zags. I'm not going crazy here. Minus 1100. You don't get a big payout, but it's like a lot.
Minus 1100. Oh, come on! At least give us a spread pick, man. Minus 1100.
Well, I'm in minus 13.5. Is Zags.
Creighton's covering that.
Balik.
I like Creighton plus 13.5 there, but the Zags are definitely going to win.
Yeah, I just said this. I mean, they're unreal. 28-0, top seeded team in the tourney. 4 players averaging double figures. Best shooter in the country, arguably Corey Kispert, and one of the best freshmen in the country with Jalen Suggs. It'll take a lot to beat them. They can put 90 on you in the blink of an eye. So yeah, Zags all day.
Man, Ethan, we might keep you around, man. I'm enjoying the content right now. This is just.
I typed up some stuff. I'm not going.
He's gonna be our betting boy.
Harb, you sweating a little bit? I'm just saying. I'm
quite nervous.
The rumor. I mean, there's rumors. There's a little switcheroony come next podcast. So,
Lord,
next game.
Yeah.
Anyway,
trying to quit again. All right, Ethan. Game 6.
This one, I got Michigan FSU. Howard,
let's go, baby.
I don't know who y'all got, but I got Michigan. They got minus 3 and minus 155 for the money line. I'm taking Michigan on this one. Yeah, I'm hammering that.
No, sir.
I mean, I personally said I didn't really care about much this game because I had LSU. I really wanted LSU to win. But if I had to pick my winner, I mean, I pick Michigan. Hunter Dickinson had a good double-double versus them. Their big man, their leading scorer. But they've been out with Isaiah Livers. He hasn't been playing for them. Still winning despite him being 6'7" forward, 90% from the free throw line. They got Franz Wagner, 37% three-point shooter, get 15 versus LSU. I just expect him. He can score from outside when Michigan needs it. I'm taking minus 155 all day.
You got to talk about Sean D. Brown, the X Factor, baby.
Sean D. Brown.
All right, guys.
Yeah, I mean,
all right, we'll see who's laughing. We'll see who's laughing
Okay.
later, all right?
I don't even know if I have him in a parlay, but I just got them winning. I know, yeah. This is my favorite game: UCLA versus Alabama.
Heck yeah.
Tough to say as an Auburn fan, but this Alabama team is very, very good. I got to see them play firsthand when me and my dad went to Alabama at Auburn. They made 25 threes versus Auburn.
So you guys didn't win.
We won in overtime, actually.
What?
It's Bama minus 250, and you got the -6 spread as well. Dude, they're sharpshooters. They got Jaden Shackelford and John Petty. He's been there for like 14 years. He's been there forever. I thought he was graduated or got out of there.
Josh Primo, baby.
Josh Primo, and they got the Defensive Player of the Year, SEC and Player of the Year, Herb Jones, Javon Quinterly, the Nova transfer. The Tide they're dangerous when they're hot. I mean, guess that's their only flaw if they're not hot. But when they're hot, they can beat anybody in the tournament. They just kill. So I'm definitely taking the Tide here, minus 250 for sure. It's a lock.
Lock.
That is a lock. I mean, UCLA is still good though, man. They're still good, but I definitely got Bama here.
Hard time betting against the Pac-12, but Bama's good.
It really is, man. Yeah, Bama is great. And I got my last matchup, the Pac-12 matchup, Oregon versus USC. I'm actually taking Oregon here, plus 125, and you got plus 2.5 of the.
Oh, I think we lost E, but I think you're saying plus 2.5 on the spread.
My AirPods died. Sorry. Can you still hear me?
Sound a lot better.
Sorry. Okay. Chris, I don't even know how to pronounce his name. Durate.
Good enough.
Yeah,
good enough.
Oh no, I just don't know. Whatever. He plays 36 minutes a game.
Duarte, baby.
He averages 7.
He averages 17 points a game, I'm assuming, based on the start of that.
Oh man, someone mute Ethan.
Producer.
Yeah, no, he's
Producer. Oh man.
So he's muted until such a time.
Oh, tough scene. Anyway, I think he was saying Chris Duarte is a freaking stud, which he is. So I'm also loving Oregon in that game. I think Oregon's going to make a little run here going forward. But with that, we'll thank Ethan if he ever gets back on here. Oh, you're back.
My AirPods reconnected and they weren't in my ear. I don't know where did I stop at. I had good info for you guys.
17 points for.
It's all good.
It's a game, and I said Oregon.
Still going.
Oregon
Love
has 5 players on their team.
Love it.
Double figures in points. And I said I don't really know a lot about them, but they're dangerous when it comes time in March.
Dangerous.
So.
They woke up feeling dangerous. Love it.
Great. Dana Altman wins in March.
And I got.
You got some parlays, yeah.
I got some parlays for you guys. I wouldn't take these, but I did take one of them. So, okay, they're all 14 parlays. My first, these are so bad. My 4 parlays. The first one I got.
Do the one you would take. Just do the one you would take.
Yeah.
Well, you might wouldn't want to take it. Okay, Oregon money line, Oregon State money line, Syracuse money line, and Oral Roberts money line.
Love it.
5 to win.
I'll stay far away.
5 to win 580. So I hammered that. So.
Oh. I love that one. Take it to the moon.
I hammered that.
Free money.
If you just find $5 on the street, I mean, maybe put it on.
Put it on.
If that hits, I'll probably be done for my career. But yeah.
Yeah. Cash out, buddy.
Yeah, I'm definitely cashing out after that. But yeah.
Out of the casino.
That's kind of what I got to say about these Sweet 16 matchups. So.
Well, Ethan, we appreciate you coming on to be our resident betting man.
Well done.
Great
sir.
work.
Well done.
Thanks.
Great work. Ton of research.
Thanks.
Dedication to the craft.
I'm crying.
Remember,
a little bit.
1-800-GAMBLER. If you have a gambling problem, please gamble responsibly.
God loves you.
Thank you guys so much. This opportunity.
Absolutely. Peace, Ethan.
Great.
Take
We
care.
love you.
Peace.
Congrats on Georgia.
Oh, thanks. Thank you. Go
Good
Dogs.
Dogs.
Bulldog.
Go Dogs.
Never thought I'd say
Go
that.
Dogs! Please stop.
All right. Well, that was Ethan Harb. Shout out, Ethan. That was awesome. Thank you for giving us all that terrific information. We're going to stay with the March Madness team a little bit longer here. I've got some questions for you guys. First, I want to know who your biggest surprise team of the tournament was. So I'll get the ball rolling here. I think all of us can confidently say that the Pac-12 as a whole has been a huge surprise, absolutely dominating so far. But within the Pac-12, I'm going to say Oregon. I know they've only played one game because their first game against VCU got canceled because of COVID, but they would have hammered VCU. And I was absolutely blown away with their performance against Iowa. I know Dana Altman can coach in March. I was a little nervous after they lost to Oregon State, in the Pac-12 tournament. But as you've seen with Oregon State so far this tournament, that was not a bad loss. Like it might have looked like at the time. Oregon can score freaking points. And when it comes down to hopefully they get past USC and then they get to play Gonzaga, I mean, that game will just be offensive showcase, and I'm super excited to hopefully see that performance. But I've been blown away with Oregon. Jacob Howard, who has been your biggest surprise team?
Oh man, well it's kind of hard. There's so many flipping upset teams. I'm torn, but I'm gonna have to go with the obvious choice with Oral Roberts. Impressive. I mean, like if you watch the Florida game, like they were down 11 with like 9 minutes left in the game, and still rallied back to win that game. And I think most teams end up losing that game. They're undersized every game they've played so far. And that's usually when you see a team make it far, it's kind of like that Cinderella high seed. It's usually because they got one tall guy that can kind of keep them afloat size-wise. But no, I've been massively impressed by Oral Roberts. I'm curious to see how they play on. And them and the Cuse. I'll throw in Syracuse because I love me some Cuse in March. I think they'd be a good West Virginia team. And also, I got to prove my worth. I was at my I'm getting married to all our fans out there, and I was at a wedding shower, and I have them in my Elite Eight, and one of my significant other's family members, extended family members, was like, "Oh, you have Syracuse beating West Virginia? That's a stupid pick." Who's laughing now? Who's laughing now? Anyway, shout out to Cuse for making me. Shout out. Yeah. All right. That's my bitter talk. Moving on.
All right, Ruby.
I'm bouncing off of Howard, actually.
Jacob.
I'm bouncing off of Howard. Just so we can stay with the Oral Roberts trend. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Man,
Golden Eagles, baby.
I mean, as a 15 seed, I mean, obviously that's extremely surprising because they're the second 15 seed since the 2013 Florida Gulf Coast team to make it to the Sweet 16. So happily surprised by them, especially with them not even finishing first in their conference, like our better Ethan said, as he hammered their money line. But Max Abrams was the nation's leading scorer going into March Madness, and I didn't think he'd be able to keep it up at the high level he has been with playing Ohio State in Florida and being down. What you said, 11 late with 9:30 to go. Completely surprised to I think everyone out there watching them. So it's going to be crazy seeing them play Arkansas. I think they're going to be able to keep it close, especially because keeping it within 11 with them in their non-conference schedule. I mean, both teams have gotten better since then. So surprised by Oral Roberts and excited to see what.
Great jerseys too, might add. I'm digging their jerseys.
Golden Eagles, don't forget.
Digging the jerseys.
Heck yeah, Rubinacci. Who you got? Biggest surprise?
My biggest surprise is actually like kind of a weird one for a surprise, but Arkansas has really surprised me. Just learning a little bit more about like their program and like even how I mentioned that they played Oral Roberts earlier. The reason behind that is they actually played Oral Roberts, Abilene Christian, and I think Colgate earlier in the season, and they played all those teams because they were looking for like mid-major schools that like they thought were going to finish well in their conference, so that they would have this like experience matchup when they played them. So I just have been like very interested in kind of like the behind the scenes thought process behind some of that stuff. I think they beat a really good Texas Tech team. I think Texas Tech was one of the more like underrated teams in the Big 12 this season, and so I think that like them moving forward and now kind of having like a easier path if they can get past Oral Roberts, who they've already beaten, kind of leads them to my Bears.
Yeah, Musselman's done a heck of a job there. That's for sure.
For sure.
I love watching Arkansas. They can't really hit threes, which is interesting for a team that's doing this well. But Moses Moody, someone to look out for. I know we were talking, Howard and Harb and I this weekend, of their Montverde team last year when they had Scotty Barnes, Moses Moody, Dayron Sharp, and Cade Cunningham. Freaking insane high school team. But anyway, beside the point, Will Durham, biggest surprise.
So I'm going to go with the Oregon State Beavers men's basketball team.
Heck yeah.
Wayne Tinkle's got his boys playing really well. And, I kind of looked through their schedule early in the season. I mean, they lost to Washington State, who's like, bottom pack. They lost to Portland in non-conference guys. They lost to Stanford and Arizona State. I mean, these guys are like middle of the pack or maybe low Pac-12 teams. Then, of course, we all know, go through the Pac-12. They beat UCLA, they beat Oregon, they beat Colorado. Pretty close games in each one except for Oregon. I think they'd make. I didn't think they'd make some noise in the tourney. I think they kind of shot all their bullets in the tournament, in the Pac-12 tournament. They come out and hold Tennessee to 56 points. And Ethan Harb talked about Ethan Thompson, that backcourt, just playing really well, especially on the defense end. And then I said, all right, well, they're facing Cade Cunningham. Like everyone predicted Cade to upset Illinois in the Sweet 16 and go on. No, they beat them by 10. Silva was a rim presence. These guys are just playing basketball, and it doesn't hurt that they're shooting the three really well. I just been really surprised by them. I really just didn't see them as a deep tourney team. I saw them again as a first round out, but playing well.
Absolutely. I think they've been a big surprise. And like I said, the Pac-12 as well. I mean, UCLA, no one said UCLA, but what they've done with 3 big wins already has been very impressive. So good for them. We're going to move on to the next one, most impressive teams. So I'm looking for biggest wins, maybe most dominance. Obviously, Baylor and Gonzaga are good picks here, but I'm actually going to say something that Howard mentioned under biggest surprises, which is the Syracuse Orange. They have been, not just have they been a surprise, but they've been impressive in their wins. Their biggest thing all year was that they were not really shooting the three ball that well for a team that had a lot of 3-point shooters. Since pretty much the last 5 games of the regular season, that could not be further from the truth. Buddy Boeheim's been unbelievable. Joe Girard has finally got it going. Alan Griffin can stroke it from 3. I love the Syracuse Orange. I've been blown away by their performance so far. They killed San Diego State, who was a good 6 seed. I don't think any discredit to SDSU. And then a win against a West Virginia team that I really thought had some Final Four potential. So that was very impressive. Boeheim, we talked about it. Boeheim loves being a double-digit seed, and they are playing really, really great basketball. The zone has been really stifling these non-ACC teams that don't see it once or twice every year, and I think that that's going to continue on. The zone's been phenomenal, and then, the only thing that can stop them is the same thing that's going to stop Alabama, which is if the threes stop falling. But the way that those teams are shooting right now, I don't see that happening. So my most impressive team so far has been Syracuse. But Jacob Harb, who you got most impressive?
I'm going to bounce off you a little bit at the end of that with the Syracuse, because I saw in the first 2 tourney games, I mean, they're shooting a total of 50% from 3 through the first 2 rounds of the tournament. And that's extremely impressive on its own, especially in March Madness, especially, like you said, with the competition they've faced with San Diego State and West Virginia. But I'd also have to go with Loyola Chicago, because at the same time, Krutwig, I didn't think he'd be able to do what he did versus Illinois, considering he was matched up against Kofi from Illinois, and he had those 2 steals late in the game with his quick hands. And yeah, I mean, he does have his sneaky athleticism that he's shown throughout the tournament, but I'm continually impressed by Loyola as an 8 seed, because, I mean, we all saw their Final Four and they made it. But it's already impressive that they're able to do what they're doing again, especially taking down Georgia Tech as the 9 seed, especially Illinois as the 1 seed. I'm extremely impressed by this Loyola Chicago team, and like I said, I think they have a good chance to make an impressive Final Four run. I'm looking out for them, and it's impressive what they've been able to do.
No, absolutely. Loyal has been phenomenal, and Krutwig showing that he was worthy of the third-team All-American nod that he got. Guy didn't look like a basketball player, but he can freaking play. Ruby, who you got? Most impressive team?
I mean, it would be crazy for me to not go with my Baylor Bears right here. I've been like just very excited about this team this whole season. We got back we got back Mitchell and Butler. So they were talking about maybe getting drafted last season. They came back. We brought in a number one recruiting class. And just like have been so good all season. And we had the COVID break that kind of like slowed a lot of the momentum we had. But it seems like against Wisconsin, it definitely picked back up. Even the first game we played in the tournament was a slow start until we started hitting our shots. Jared Butler is incredible. He's my favorite player in the tournament. Davion Mitchell has just stops at least one player on the other team, and oftentimes helps shut down another one. Mark Vital has been, kind of what Ethan said. He's just like the Draymond of our team. He literally does all the, blocks and rebounds and set screens. And just so even our bench guys like Matthew Meyer and Flagler and Teague just all come off and just hit big shots, and we dunk a lot too, which is just fun to watch.
A lot of R's and we's in that statement there. A lot of R's and we's. I'm liking it. I'm liking it. Big Baylor guy.
And I went there.
I can piggyback off of that one because I'll go with the other big one. I'm definitely gonna say Gonzaga. While it's the obvious choice, I think dominance still needs to be recognized as impressive, even if it's expected. And I think Gonzaga's that. I hate them. I'll be honest with you guys. I hope Gonzaga loses. Little punks. They're a little punk team, honestly. Little floppers. And oh man, I specifically saw a terrible flop in their first game. Yeah, and immediately from that point on, I was like, I don't like them anymore. So that's my hot take. I'm just gonna be honest. But no, they've looked great. I mean, Gonzaga is always. It would be a kind of a pandemic year that they would end up winning it finally. But yeah, I mean, I got them plugged into Final Four. I think everyone does. For the sake of my office bracket, so I can win some money. I hope they lose so I can win that bracket. But that's beside the point. I'm not money motivated. I'm a man of the cloth. Anyway, yeah, no, I got Gonzaga. They look really impressive. So I'll put the Zags in there.
No, definitely fair. They're the obvious picks, but they're the right picks.
Yeah, someone has to say it,
I'm gonna go with the Florida State Seminoles.
Yes, sir.
Shout out.
Yes, sir.
Let's go Noles.
We look great.
And here's why. First of all, they played two really good opponents. UNCG is a 13 seed. That's a really good team that Wes Miller has up there in Greensboro, North Carolina. They're sound. Isaiah Miller is a beast, and Florida State contained him as much as possible, only allowing 54 points total in that game. And then they played Colorado, who just came off a 96-point butt whooping against Georgetown, who everyone thought Georgetown was going to upset Colorado the first. They were so high. Then Colorado only scores 53 points against. And I mean, it's to play up polite. He's a beast. MJ Walker's going to do his thing. He didn't have that great of a game against Colorado. But what we heard about Florida State, we heard they were deep and they were really good on defense. And they had a hiccup against Tech. I'll admit that. Tech played the game of their lives against Florida State. Now they're back and they're rolling. at the right time. They got Michigan. I think this is going to be the best game of the Sweet 16 is Florida State, Michigan, not just because it's a 1-4, but they're just evenly matched and they're just coaching and everything. It's great games. Can't wait for that one. I actually got Florida State winning.
Well,
But, they're just deep. They're really good on defense. And if they hold Michigan to 50-some, they're going to win the game. So I'm really impressed with Florida State.
I just want to put a special shout out to the Florida State basketball program. 3 straight Sweet 16 appearances, which I think is quite impressive for a school that had non-existent basketball program for a good part of the modern era of basketball. So,
Howard, you've come a long way since Sunday when you said you guys were going to definitely lose to Colorado.
Listen. We all made mistakes that weekend. All right. So you know what? It happens. Okay. I lost faith. Watch us turn over the ball 1,000 times for Georgia Tech. Okay. I had low hopes. I'm fair.
You've definitely been emotionally damaged. I mean, the emotional wear and tear of being an Atlanta sports fan and then I guess a Florida State fan it's there. It's there. You were hurting even up double digits against UNCG. So
let's move on.
That's
Next
all right.
topic.
Well, no,
Next
I want you
topic.
to just sit there and sit in your pain. All right. Well, the last part of the March Madness topic tonight is going to be your Final Four and your champion from that Final Four. So, Ruby, how about you get the ball rolling for us? I want all 4 regions, the Final Four team, who is going to win the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go Baylor, Gonzaga. I'm gonna go. I have Alabama, and I'm gonna end up with Loyola Chicago.
I love it.
And I'm gonna say that it is Baylor Gonzaga, the game that we're promised, but was unfortunately canceled due to COVID. And I'm gonna say the Baylor Bears are bringing home the natty.
Yeah, no, I mean that's. I think we all could have predicted that one, but hey, respect. I think Baylor looks great. I was very impressed by their performance. Wisconsin played out of their minds against Baylor. Wisconsin was playing good basketball
For sure.
but also this might be a controversial. Davion Mitchell is the best player on Baylor. I know Jared Butler gets all the praise. Davion Mitchell is unbelievable, and sign me up for him at pick 20. The Atlanta Hawks.
I was just about to say that. I would not mind him in a Hawks uniform.
That dude can defend like crazy. He led the conference in assists this year. Shot 40% from 3. I love everything about him. Give me Davion all day. All right, Jacob Harb, Final Four and champion.
The Gonzaga Baylor road to the what we all want. I'm a fool for not picking Gonzaga to win it all because I had faith in my Hawkeyes, but realized the Big Ten's absolutely fraud.
Yeah.
As we have realized from this tournament, since Michigan's the only team remaining. I'm going to put Alabama in there as well, my Final Four, playing Gonzaga, like you said, Ruby. But I don't know exactly how Loyola Chicago is going to pan out. And I have a feeling they're going to win this weekend versus Oregon State. But the only good thing I've had in my bracket so far is really Houston staying alive. So I'm going to keep Houston in my Final Four right now, playing Baylor. But I think Baylor will be too much. If Houston makes it, I can very well see them losing to Syracuse. And I'm going to keep it as those 4 teams with a Gonzaga, finally a Mark Few champion.
Yep, we'll see if this is the year for Mark Few. He finally got over the Final Four hump a couple years ago, so maybe this is the year where he gets that long-awaited national championship for Gonzaga. Boy D, what you got?
I got Gonzaga. I got Alabama. I don't think they're gonna stop missing. They're too deep, by the way. Even if they have 3 guys that are off, they got 3 others who can.
Absolutely.
So they look really good. I got Arkansas coming out and beating Baylor in the
Must bust.
Ooh.
I really like them. I think it was a really impressive win against Texas Tech. Again, they're also deep. Former ASUN standout JD Notae coming off the bench. He really deserves a start, and I don't know if he has recently. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean he's a player, and I think Arkansas is deep enough, and I think they that's the team that can beat Baylor other than Zaga. I got Houston coming out as well to the Final Four. People kind of slept on Houston earlier in the tournament just because Illinois and as people were choosing the brackets, Oklahoma State. But Houston's so good defensively. I think they survived a hiccup against Rutgers, who played just a fantastic game against. But I think Houston gets it done against Syracuse and Chicago to the Final Four, and then no one's beating at them. Mark Few holding up the title.
All right, Jay Howe.
Great choices, guys. Great choices. I feel like I'm going to be the lead Corso here, and I'm going to be a little wild because you guys are being a lot of vanilla choices out there. So here's what I'm going to give you right here. First off, we got Oregon. Final Four. Easy. Ooh, put it in lock.
Oh.
Secondly, we'll put in, for the sake of keeping my bracket somewhat intact, we'll put the Baylor Bears in so I can win some money in my office. Not for any other reason than that. Third, put my Knowles in. Easy. Cash that in. I don't even need to watch the rest of the games. And then give me the Syracuse Orange Baby. And as my champion, we'll go with Baylor just because I need them. I need my money. So Baylor Bears champion. So put that.
I'll hop on your little action for some wild picks. I'm gonna pick Oregon too.
Let's go.
Look, in a lot of my in my mind, do I know Gonzaga is the best team in the country? Of course I do. But it's March, and they tend to choke in March, and I'm with you. I was watching that Ayayi flop with you, and it made me mad. It made me feel like Gonzaga is just a bunch of babies that are really good basketball players. They can shoot the heck out of the ball. They're awesome. But I think they're a little entitled. They're a little spoiled. I think they're getting a little cocky because they haven't lost yet. We haven't had an undefeated team. You got to remember, no team's gone undefeated since 1976? So I know it's a shorter season, but it's hard to do. And so I think Oregon gets them. And I'm going to put Oregon in the Final Four. I'm also going to put Alabama in the Final Four. And if Gonzaga gets past Oregon, which, again, as I said earlier in this podcast, will be a crazy fun scoring game, we'll get Gonzaga, Alabama, which will be a crazy fun scoring game. And I think maybe Alabama will get them. But I've got Oregon, I got Alabama, I got Baylor. I'm going to go Loyola Chicago because Sister Jean is somehow still kicking. And Syracuse, I've watched play too many times this year in the ACC. They're hot right now, and maybe that keeps going, but they're also hot against a not very good Virginia team, as we all know, and we still beat them in the ACC tournament. I have a hard time believing that they're going to be able to keep it up. They're going to maybe win one more game, but Houston's a really tough matchup, like Will was just saying. So I'm going to put Loyola Chicago down there. I think they're going to beat Houston because I think they're going to have another hiccup kind of like they did against Rutgers. So I got Oregon, Bama, Baylor, and Loyola Chicago. And I got Baylor beating the Crimson Tide in the championship.
That's literally my bracket, Brian.
A lot of Baylor boys going on here, but very excited. It's going to be a great 2 more weekends of some basketball for sure. But with that, we're going to head over to NFL free agency. It's been going on. It's been a little covered up by the glory that is March Madness, but nonetheless, we're on to almost week 3 now of NFL free agency. So I just want to hear your biggest winner and your biggest loser. Don't got to go crazy in depth on this, but I want to know who you guys think is walking pretty out of NFL free agency and who wasted resources or didn't get the positions they needed. So, Jay, how about you get us started?
I'm torn. I don't know. I think an easy pick to be a Texans because that's just a dumpster fire right now, and wouldn't want anything to do with it. But I'm gonna throw in the Patriots. I don't know what Bill's doing. I feel like I'm the idiot in the room. I'm not gonna lie. I don't get the signings. A lot of money being thrown around at players that I don't deem worth it, but. That would definitely be my pick for worst first kind of wave. Anyway, that's mine. And I think the obvious choice is the Cardinals, just because they're making a lot of moves. They remind me of the Bucks. I think we talked about that this weekend. I think they remind me of the Bucks a lot from last year, just buying heavy in. I think that looks the shiniest penny to me. And so I'm kind of all in on that, obviously, with Watt and Rodney. So anyway, those are my two choices, give or take. I'm free to be criticized for my choices. I will cry.
Respect it. Respect it. Jacob Harb, sorry, I'll let you respond to that.
I mean, it's hard to hear that as the Patriots as losers since they've been, such winners the past 2 decades. But Howard, you have your opinion. They've had their fair share of no-name signings before, but I don't know if I call them losers. But you got Matthew Judon. I don't know if you know who that is, Howard, but he's a Pro Bowler for the Ravens. I don't know whether players you disagree with from the signing, since the free agent receiver market was tough. Nelson Aguilar and Jalen Mills were tough to see the money go as much for them. But we had the third or fourth most cap in the league, so he had to spend because he knew we were weak at some positions. But I don't think it was a huge win for the Patriots as much as could have been. But I don't think it was losers out of all the teams. But
Cam Newton, you re-signed Cam Newton, my man.
True.
Yeah, but we're gonna draft a quarterback.
Okay. All right.
Hey, whether you draft a quarterback or not, you just invested $14 million in Cam Newton, which if he's gonna be a backup, great. Then you're.
It's $5 million guaranteed though. It's only $5 million.
Okay, I mean that makes it a little bit better.
Only
But still, I
5.
mean, you had him for 1.25 or whatever last year. So even if you're paying him 7 and he doesn't hit any of the incentives,
He got a pay raise for his performance last season.
Yeah,
He was so good last season.
But I just cut your salary in half, Ryan. Half of it.
no, I know, and that's great. But I mean, look, if you think you're really going to draft a rookie and he's going to start all 16 games and Cam's not going to get any playing time incentives, I would disagree with that. I mean, I don't think.
I said we were going to draft a quarterback.
Jacob, you're being really defensive right now, and this was not a personal attack towards you. I respect the Patriots and the Bill Belichick. That was just my opinion, man. All right.
I know. I just wanted to respond. A little Patriots commentary.
Oh, just stating stuff. I mean, I can also state that Judon only had 6 sacks last year, and you're paying him top flight pass rusher money. Look, I don't think the Patriots are one of the biggest losers. I think they filled a lot of their needs with getting 2 tight ends, and you're going to return, to the 2 tight end offense that was so successful, and you got a good pass rusher in Judon. But not a biggest loser. I just also think it was big spending. But Harb, do you have biggest winner, biggest loser?
I was just gonna say, while we're on the topic of the Patriots, there's a little bit of method to the madness, in that the salary cap in the next couple of years is going to go up with the TV deals. So that might be something to kind of put in the back of your mind, especially when you're looking at some of these deals, because I have a feeling in a couple of years they really won't look that bad. The other, big kind of pickup for the Patriots is the Trent Brown trade. I mean, they got him for a 5th round. He's a really good, right tackle. So.
Oh, absolutely. I think they definitely filled all their needs, even if they had to overpay for it. Jacob Harb is right. They had plenty of cap space to do that with. But Harb, you got biggest winner, biggest loser?
I mean, there's a couple of losers that were just even with me, but I like it's too easy for me. I mean, like Howard said, the Texans are a dumpster fire. I like just calling them the biggest losers just because it's just kind of how they were 10-6 and won a playoff game in 2019, and now they're just literally a dumpster fire, as you said, Howard. They lost J.J. Watt, Will Fuller, and who knows what Deshaun Watson's going to do. I mean, I don't even know where he's going to play at this rate or if he's going to play next season. But instead of, signing some big deals, they gave the most money they've gave out is to Tyrod Taylor. And
Premier quarterback.
He
T-Mobile
struggles, to say the least. And they really signed some other big names like Mark Ingram and Andre Roberts and Dante Moncrief. So
2017 Texans would have been insane.
They might have been, but no. I mean, it's hard to see. I also like to talk about my winner. I like the Kansas. Sadly, this is the biggest reason because they got Joe Thuney, who's one of the best offensive linemen in the NFL from the Patriots. couldn't really pay him, even though I thought it was going to be a little restructuring and working. Franchise tag him last year, but we saw how the Chiefs O-line looked in the Super Bowl versus the Buccaneers, and Mahomes was scrambling for his life. So signing him was great because he can play a variety of spots on their O-line. They need a tackle, and he hasn't really played that before or started at a game, but I think he's capable of doing that. And then a side note, they signed Kyle Long, who was a 3-time Pro Bowler that came out of retirement. Help their line. I think that's big for them because that was the biggest need going into this offseason. I like the Chiefs as a winner, and I just think help them make for a long run.
Absolutely. I'll follow up. I've got, look, the Texans, man, as a Dolphins fan, aka the people that have reaped the most benefit from their idiocracy.
Pro Dolphins podcast.
It is a Pro Dolphins podcast, correct? It's easy to say the Texans, their biggest splashes were more running backs. They've got like 3 starting running backs on the roster. And it's amazing how a team can spend so little cap space that they have on so many players who are not impactful starters. It's a disaster. They got no clue what they're doing down there. They're going to be awful. Deshaun Watson, there's 14 women now. Who knows if he's even going to play this year. That's a disaster. But in the spirit of not harping too heavily on them, I'm going to say the Jaguars are the biggest loser. It's not that they didn't get some play. I mean, they got Shaq Griffin and Marvin Jones, who are both going to make the team better. They obviously have high draft picks. They're going to get Trevor Lawrence. It's not to say they're not going to be a better team next year than they were this year, but they had over $100 million in cap space. They had by far the most cap money in the entire league, and they only signed 2 starting caliber players with all that money. They had the opportunity to go get pretty much anyone on the market that they wanted. They have huge holes to fill. Their O-line definitely needs work before you bring in Trevor Lawrence. Their defense was the worst defense in the National Football League last year, and you only brought in 1 star. Their linebackers are awful, and they didn't grab a single linebacker. I really don't have a clue what they're doing. It kind of seems so far under the Urban Meyer reign that it's been one issue after the next. So I've got the Jaguars the biggest loser. Biggest winner is a team that didn't sign any new players, but it's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Shout out to Jason Litt. The fact that they were able to keep Godwin, Barrett, David, and Gronk is nothing short of amazing. I thought there was no way that they would, especially, I mean, I knew Gronk wouldn't play anywhere other than the Bucs, but Godwin and Shaq Barrett and Levante David, I figured there was no way that they could keep all 3. Probably 2, but not all 3, and they found a way to do it. Absolutely blown away by what they've done. Fournette and Sue could still walk, but I think those guys are very replaceable. Vita Vea will be healthy for the whole year, which will help with Sue being out. And then playoff Lenny, Ronald Jones is a capable back, and I know they've talked about bringing in James White or something, which would be great with Brady. So I'm not worried about the Bucs. I think they've done a phenomenal job keeping that roster together. So they're my winner. Will Durham, winners and losers.
It's tough going last every time. I got to say I don't like it.
Well, hey, you're not last.
Well, no. I'm about to give. Well, I mean, I get to throw my ideas based on winners. On my paper, Jacob Harb can see that winners, Tampa Bay, and losers, Jacksonville Jaguars.
Love it.
Tampa Bay, I mean, you
Copier.
Stan Tom, you re-signed Gronk for $8 million, signed Shaq Barrett and Levante David, and you franchise tag Godwin. He would have been a big money guy if he would have gone. And I think the best way to win free agency is to prevent your best players from free agency. And I mean, you just won a Super Bowl with those players. You could have played a little better in the regular season, but I mean, still won the thing. So, I mean, why not just keep everyone right there as it is, and maybe for a little less money, and or maybe a little more money, maybe franchise tag a guy, and that's what they did. And so, I think those are the biggest winners. That's the biggest winner so far. I mean, they kept everything afloat. Ship is still floating, boy, for the boys in Tampa. And again, I'll just piggyback off Ryan. The Jaguars, I mean, they're going to get Trevor, all that, but I mean, they had so much cap space. And you got to do something with it. I know Jacksonville is not the prettiest place to go for a free agent, but you let guys slip to go to other teams, and
hey, money talks, baby.
I know money. Yeah, it's true.
I don't know, man. Jacksonville's kind of a crap town, but sorry to our Jacksonville fans out there.
Oh, jeez.
All our Jacksonville fans.
Continue.
But I it's just to say that the salary cap is just not great, and I mean, the salary cap is amazing, but the players who they've gotten they're okay, but they need to get way more. And of course, free agency is not over, but a lot of the guys are already being taken. So we'll see if they do anything crazy. Urban Meyer, I mean, he's used to recruiting. He hasn't gotten a lot of 5 stars here in Jacksonville. So.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
That was a nice line.
That was a nice line.
My
Yeah, man. Last one.
all right.
Unless you don't want to.
No, I'm gonna go biggest loser. I think it's the Las Vegas Raiders. They traded away pretty much their offensive line, mostly for 5th and 3rd round, or 2 5th round. Gabe Jackson went to Seattle for a 5th round. Trent Brown, who I mentioned earlier, went to the Patriots for a 5th round. Then Rodney Hudson went for a 3rd round. They don't really know, like, I feel like Derek Carr is not the answer. I feel like Mariota might get in a little bit, but I also don't know how much I buy into Mariota. This team was like not bad at the beginning of the last season. Like they beat the Chiefs, like they were definitely in playoff contention, and then just kind of like after that Chiefs game, the second Chiefs game where they like played them close, it's just been downhill. They signed Kenyon Drake, even though they have a young rookie running back, or not rookie, it's 3rd year, I guess now, running back, and Josh Jacobs. They released LaMarcus Joyner, who's a good safety for them, and then they signed John Brown as their only other big like pickup. So, they also signed Yannick for 2 years, 26. But so like they're just not a ton of movement. They haven't bolstered their offensive line at all and got rid of a bunch of their players and have shaky at best quarterbacks. So I think the Raiders are struggling. And for my winner, I'm gonna go with the Buffalo Bills. I've loved the Buffalo, but nobody circles the wagon. It's like the Buffalo Bills. Okay. Anyways,
Didn't like the energy. Didn't like the energy in that. You need to say it to give him more energy, please.
No, he doesn't.
Okay. Anyways, yeah. So they signed Mitch Trubisky as a backup, which I mean I think that's a decent backup for that Bills team, and then they just kind of did a lot of what you and Will were talking about, which is re-signing a lot of their big guys, Darrell Williams, one of their offensive linemen, and then Matt Milano, their linebacker, and extended Micah Hyde. They got Emmanuel Sanders to, I guess, kind of fill in for that John Brown role. And yeah, like I mean, they were a good team last year. I think that they got a little bit better and kept a lot of their guys who helped them be good. So those are my
fair enough. Fair enough. See if the Bills can take a step this year. Well, last things last, as always, fire breed shots. Will Durham, since you claim you go last, how about you get us going? First fire breed shot.
Love it. Thank you. Let me spit real quick about my Atlanta Hawks making the NBA Finals. Let me spit.
Yes, sir.
I have a future on the Atlanta Hawks.
Oh, let me spit. All right. Nate has taken the reins, and he's cracked the whip.
Love Nate.
All right. I was
didn't like that.
Doing some research for our blog. Me and Jacob have a blog for a class, and we talk about sports and chemistry. And we're
what's it called?
About the Atlanta Hawks. And what is our podcast? What is our blog called, Jacob?
Oh, the camaraderie of sports.
Check it out, blogger.com. Sports. Check it out. Great read. But here's the thing is that Trae Young recently said in a quote that Nate, guy asked, what's the difference? And Trae was like, we're just playing better. But this time he actually said, look, Nate gives us confidence as a team. He's letting everyone play their style. We're going out, we're putting wins on the board. And that's I mean, with a hot team, I know we lost last night. I know we gave up a big lead. And, that's just one game. Because we're going to go on a hot streak again. I'm riding the Atlanta Hawks wave. I say if we don't trade anyone, we let our guys get healthy. DeAndre Hunter's finally back in rotation. He'll get more minutes as he keeps playing, and eventually he's going to start. And Tony Snell keeps shooting the lights out, and Bogdanovich fills up the stat sheet, and Gallinari shoots the way he should shoot for how much money we gave him. I see our Hawks beating the Heat in the first round. I see our Hawks beating the 76ers in the second round. Nets third round.
Oh my gosh.
Someone give us the Western Conference.
I don't know if I think the 76ers are good.
Put a future on it. If Ethan was here, he would put a future on it.
Exactly.
I put a future on it 2 months ago.
Love it.
Wow.
Love it.
There you go.
Wow.
Probably burning money, but I love that shot. Hey, Will, you've come a long way since before the season when you pretty much condemned the Hawks to hell. So I'm proud of you.
To be fair,
We still have Cam Reddish, who
Hopefully not much longer. Send him off for Lonzo.
not much.
Get rid of him.
Trade him off.
Kick him out the door.
We might win the finals if we trade him off. To be honest,
Hey, if we get Lonzo for Cam Reddish, I mean, I'll put a future down.
it's bag season.
I'll put a future down.
That'd
No
be
problem.
awesome.
All right. Ruby, how about you? Favorite shot?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Kawhi Leonard winning the NBA MVP this year. The Clippers finish with a really strong push at the end. It's like they play the Knicks, which are actually better this year, but then they play the Thunder 3 or 4 times towards the end, and they play some of the lesser teams in the NBA towards the end of this season. Joel Embiid is probably out with his injury. Jokic, their big complaint is the team record. And Harden feels like there's too much kind of going on. LeBron just got injured. And so I could see a path for Kawhi to move up the MVP race. I mean, I think we all have him as one of the top, players in the NBA, and I think this is the season he kind of breaks through as that.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's definitely possible. We'll see. I think a lot of times MVP comes down to stats, and I think that might kill him a little bit, but I think you're right. And LeBron and Embiid missing a lot of time can help.
He's pretty level with most of the other players who are in the race who haven't gotten just knocked out.
That's fair.
So, and
That's
the
fair.
team record obviously I think is something they look at, and that will tilt towards the Clippers. I think
Definitely a factor.
the Nuggets per se.
Definitely a factor. All right, Jacob Harb, you got a favorite shot.
I'm going back to, first of all, loved having my brother on the podcast tonight. I mean, thought he brought an element that I don't have. The betting aspect, don't really dabble into that because why would I? But my brother does. And I'm saying that Ethan's safe parlay will hit this weekend.
Oh, wow.
And I'm going to go back to his safe parlay because he recently just sent us some of his parlays, and his safe parlay consists of a Cuse win, which is a lock, Michigan win, lock, UCLA win, not so much of a lock, but I'm saying they're going to win, and an Oregon win. I mean, come on, that's 5 to win 172. I'm saying Ethan's safe parlay is a lock this week. All right, so hope that makes you proud, Ethan, but I'm taking his parlay all the way to the moon, as he would say.
So let's probably say not safe. It's a gamble.
I would say
It's his safe
By
parlay.
safe, it is incredibly unlikely to hit, but
so safe.
Safe compared
but it's
to other
safe.
parlays.
that's true. The rest of them are horrible. So
Leave it at that.
Sorry, I should have prefaced that. Safe compared to his other parlays.
one of the other ones he has is 5 to win 800. So, by comparison,
That might be safe.
no, it is not. Jacob Howard, shoot you on 5 shot for real.
Wow, this is pretty simple, fellas. Oral Roberts is your next national championship, national champion. So you just book that down. You get your laughs out. Get your laughs out now. When the Golden Eagles are hoisting the trophy, I'll be right here. So if for all you gambling people, put your money down on that one. Be a rich man. No, yeah. Golden Eagles, got a Cinderella story right here for our eyes. Just what we need in 2021. A Cinderella story to believe in. This is their moment. Golden Eagles, baby.
It would just be the most incredible thing that's ever happened in collegiate sports.
You're welcome.
I'd be into it. It's not going to happen, but I'd be into it. All right. Well, I got my last one, my fire reach shot. I've been a big proponent of the Dolphins drafting a guy named Kyle Pitts. I don't know if you guys saw this week, but his pro day, the dude ran a 4.4640.
Yikes.
Which for a 6'6", 230-pound tight end is freakish. He ran only 0.1 slower than Calvin Johnson. Do I think he's going to be Calvin Johnson? No, that would be a fire breach shot. But my fire breach shot is going to be that Kyle Pitts will go down as the greatest tight end in NFL history by the time his career is over. This is bold. We have obviously Gronk, and then if someone's going to pass Gronk, it'll be probably Kelsey, and it's unlikely. But tight ends seem to be becoming just bigger and bigger proponents of the passing offense. I think stats can get padded more and more than they ever can, or they ever have before for tight ends. Kyle Pitts, the dude's unguardable. I mean, his numbers from last season at Florida are absolutely freakish. Teams knew that they were throwing him the ball in the red zone and would triple team him, and it didn't matter because he's faster than them, he's taller than them, and he can jump higher than them, and his hands are unbelievable. He never drops balls. So anyway, Kyle Pitts, greatest tight end in NFL history. Very excited about it. Hopefully that's with the Dolphins. If not, congrats to whichever team drafts him. Maybe the Falcons at 4. Never know.
Baby.
Never know.
So why I love this fire breach shot is because it'll be so long before
it will be 20 years before you guys know if I'm correct or not. Yeah.
And our podcast will still be going on.
We'll be going, baby. We'll be out here.
Simply no way it's still going on.
1,000 episodes.
Not if Jake.
When we're getting together for a nice little glass of scotch at the age of 50, I'll be able to laugh at you guys and say, ha ha ha, Kyle Pitts, goat. So I'm thrilled for that.
Like I said last time we made it one of these predictions, one of us won't be there. All right. We'll wrap it up.
Jeez. The darkest. Well, hey, it was good to be back with you boys. 2 months was a long time, but this felt good. This felt right. So everyone, enjoy your March Madness. 1-800-GAMBLER. Gambling problem. Definitely gamble though. It's too fun not